Hello and welcome to the Otaku Network podcast. My name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And we have yet another episode of From the Otaku Desk. Since this is pretty much the end of the year, we're going to do the thing that everybody else does, and we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite anime from 2024. We'll be starting from 5 going to 1, and David will lead off with his number 5 favorite anime from 2024.
Number 5 for me this year. I don't want my ranking to seem like there's a huge difference in my enjoyment of these shows, because I did enjoy all of these shows that I'm about to lay on you guys. Number 5 for me this year would probably be Solo Leveling.
Okay. What did you like about Solo Leveling?
I really enjoyed the modern-y, video gamey, fantasy vibe.
Okay. And
yes, it was a power trip, but I really, really, really enjoyed watching that show this year.
And season 2 is going to be right around the corner.
I know. It's coming out next year. It's the first show next year. I'm really looking forward to the second season.
Have you dug into the manhwa yet?
I have not dug into the manhwa yet.
Okay.
I think I can find it on Webtoons.
Yeah, it's on Webtoons.
So I'm slowly reading through Tower of God right now on Webtoons.
My number 5, it was really hard for me. This year was really good, especially for my bread and butter, which is slice of life romance. But my number 5 has to go to Love is Indivisible by Twins. The initial premise of the show seemed very superficial and problematic, but when I actually sat down and watched, just the first episode impressed me with how intelligent the characters were and how the story itself and the way that the plot evolves between the back and forth of the love triangle presented the story in a different manner than what we're used to in a lot of anime. It was really good, and I think we're getting a season 2 at some point. I don't know. I think we are. But season 1 definitely ended on kind of like this question mark. But yeah, the artwork's terrible. The artwork's really bad. Character design is really strange, but the writing and the characters I feel are just so strong. It just wipes the terrible artwork out of, away and cleanses that sin.
My number 4 for this year would probably be Apothecary Diaries. Although technically starting in October of last year, it did do a 2-core
first season. So we're considering it part of this year. I highly recommend watching it. The second season is coming out in January. Yeah. No, Apothecary Diaries is a really fun show. I'm glad you convinced me to watch it. My number 4 is going to be Dan Da Dan. So Dan Da Dan was a lot better than I expected. The only thing that ever piqued my interest with it is the fact that it was done by Science Saru, and I'm a huge fan of a lot of the things that Science Saru do. But then through the initial trailers and seeing what Dan Da Dan was about, at least through that perspective, it just seemed like your stereotypical supernatural power fantasy shonen thing. Mm-hmm. I gave the first episode a try regardless, wholly on the strength of my love of Science Saru. Wasn't entirely sold, but was quite impressed with what I saw, particularly due to the characterization and the directing by Science Saru.
You were also very tickled by a lot of the humor.
Yeah. Number 3.
I have to say season 2 of Mashal. Yeah, season 2 of Mashal this year was fun. I really enjoy it just because of the sheer hilarity of this, like things that aren't possible. And it's just funny. It's one of the best comedy animes that I've seen.
My number 3 is going to be Orb. We reviewed Orb during the fall of 2023. It is a historical fiction story. The writing is amazing. The writing is so good. The characters are so good. The story with each episode just continues to reinforce the quality of what you're seeing unfold. It's definitely not for everybody because it is very dry. Mm-hmm. It's just a historical drama about emerging science.
Very good.
Just amazingly written. Number 2.
Ramanaka Neko.
All right.
Ramanaka Neko is a very adorable anime. It was played initially as this like cute, adorable anime that really just kind of turned into this like business management show. The characterization was so good. The character development was good. Steve and I reviewed it in the summer of this year. We both really liked it. That was our top for that season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was our top for this summer season.
It very quickly became one of my quintessential animes to like recommend to people, and I feel like it would be a good entry point for somebody.
Ramen Akaneko lends itself to being a really good introductory anime to people who are not familiar with the medium. It doesn't require an understanding of aesthetics. It doesn't require an understanding of tropes to make things make sense. It's aimed at general audiences, and it's realistically a universally relatable theme.
They could lower the barrier of entry if they dubbed it in English, is my only critique.
Yeah, it definitely does need a dub in English, honestly.
Now that it's getting a second season, I would hope they would maybe do a dub.
I don't know. It's hard to say. So my number 2 pick for the year is Pseudo Harem.
You really liked that one.
I would say that Pseudo Harem is an example of a perfect romance anime. It really just focuses on the two main characters and their interactions with each other. There is virtually no other interference from other characters. There are no side plot lines. There are no moments of tension or misunderstanding. It is just lovely and heartwarming. There's nothing wrong with it. It begins well and it ends phenomenally, and there's no garbage.
You're such a hopeless romantic.
I am. I love it. It is so good.
Such a hopeless romantic.
All right, number 1.
My number 1 anime pick of 2024 is Orb on the Movements of Earth. If you haven't picked up yet, I'm a scientist. I've spent over half of my life now devoting myself to studying science and working towards the goal of obtaining a PhD. So I love seeing this show where there's the dedication to the expansion of human knowledge. The art's amazing. The music is amazing.
The atmosphere of the show is really well done.
The atmosphere is great. The brutal realism of it is great. The fact that like you can get attached to characters and they may not be sticking around.
Yeah.
It scratches so many itches. And I think I said this in the episode 12 of the podcast, where it has everything that you and I like.
Yeah.
There's some slice of lifeiness. There's just all of this.
It has a lot of key qualities and genres that we latch onto.
Right. There's lots of coming of age. There's growth and development. There's fucking combat.
The action is good.
The fighting is fantastic. I was not expecting an anime that focuses so heavily on science to have good combat when we're in the same season. We're watching a show that should be
combat oriented.
Combat Central has terrible combat. It's just
the one about science nerds has some good swordplay.
There's a reason why for me it has become anime of the year and may even be in my list of top 10 of all time. I don't know where in my top 10 of all time.
As I'm sure many have guessed because I've alluded to it throughout the year, my top pick for anime of the year is Too Many Losing Heroines. It was an incredibly enjoyable package. The story is so fun because it breaks so many of the traditions and norms of the standard high school romance. I think what aids my enjoyment of the show is how phenomenal the animation is. It has a life of its own that enhances the enjoyment of the show. It's so good. So well done. The story is fun. The characters are amusing as hell. It's absolutely the best anime I've seen this year. I need to rewatch it. I need to start picking up the light novels. I think only one of them maybe the first 2 are available in English so far. I need to find them and read this series because it was such a lovable story with just, these characters were so fucking stupid. I loved it. It was so good.
That came out this summer, right?
That came out over the summer. This summer was one of the most stacked seasons in a long time when it comes to slice of life romance. We had so many good romance anime this season, or this summer.
It was the summer of love.
We had Alia. We had Love is Indivisible by Twins. We had Days with My Stepsister. We had Pseudo Harem. We had Makane, Too Many Losing Heroines. There's other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Dude, most of your top 5 was from the summer.
This summer was so good. It was amazing.
Was your whole top 5 from the
No,
summer?
3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because the other 2 were Orb and Dan to Dan.
Yeah. From the fall. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised neither of us put Astronaut in our top 5.
Astronaut was good, but
I had debated for a minute putting a movie into mine.
oh, okay.
I
What movie?
really enjoyed Overlord the Sacred Kingdom movie.
Okay. In the blog post that I did wrapping up the year, where, you know, I list actually my top 10 and then just kind of discussed all the shows that I've watched throughout the season that are new. I did a special mention for the movie Look Back, which is based off of a manga of the same name, by the gentleman who created Chainsaw Man. All right. Well, thanks for putting up with us. And thanks for checking us out throughout this year. Happy New Year's to everybody. And do not forget that we are about to jump headfirst into the winter season of 2025.
Let's go.
So
Second year, baby.
we will soon be releasing the picks for the next 3 months of the podcast.
Year 2, baby.
All right. Let us know what your favorite anime of the year 2024 was. And we will see you guys next time.
Deuces.